My name is Zia Choudhury and I'm the founder and director of the Serious Sausage Company. The Serious Sausage Company produces very high quality, ethical, halal sausages. We make sausages and we distribute them up and down the UK. Several years ago I realised that the current halal food market is not very well served. There's lots of very poor quality food on the market, and I also recognise that the Muslim market is growing in the UK, and so I saw a niche for very high quality convenience foods. When I first started the company, I went to a business advisor and I was advised strongly to get an accountant from the very earliest stages of my work. When I first started speaking to prospective accountants, I asked them questions like, are you experienced with working with small and new businesses? Are you experienced with the food trade? I also asked them if they, how much their services would cost, what would they give me, and what would I have to do also, and also asked them what wouldn't they do for me. When I first started speaking to different prospective accountants, I was surprised that some of them didn't appear to be very well equipped to deal with startup companies. I had to tell them about my business idea, my business plan and strategy. I also had to explain to them how much investment funds I had. I explained to them what my expected turnover would be, and I also explained to them what my staffing structure would be and what our skill sets were within the company. And those are the things which helped them to then decide what services I needed. Accountants need to understand that startup companies are often run by people who don't have prior business experience, and also often they are running everything themselves in the company, from production to marketing to sales to account keeping. So it's important that the accountant realises you're extremely stressed and under pressure and you don't have many resources, and therefore they need to be very supportive of your needs. When I made my final selection for the accountant, it was based on three things really. The first was that their ability and confidence to deal with a small and new business. Secondly, it was obviously the pricing structure, how much they were going to charge me, and the terms of payment. And thirdly, probably most importantly, was how personable they were and how supportive and encouraging they were, and also just straightforward honest about my business strategy and ideas. Well, my accountant offered me a range of services, and one of them was a full package, whereas they would basically take from me bags of receipts and raw data, and then they would do the bookkeeping for me and also then do the audited accounts. But the accountant very helpfully suggested that if I did some of the legwork, that is putting all my receipts into order and keeping a simple sheet of accounts, that they would then be able to do the more difficult work of then auditing those and putting them into shape for submission to government authorities. With my accountant, I have a very formal written agreement, and that outlines exactly what services they will give me and at what cost. It also specifies how I have to pay them. The contract also specifies what they will not do unless I pay an extra fee, and it also specifies the kind of things that I should do to minimise the workload which I pass on to them. I feel much more confident that my accounts are submitted accurately and that they meet all the statutory regulations. And also it's just very comforting to know that there's somebody supportive who's keeping an eye on the most important part of your business, which is really the finances. One of the nicest things about having an accountant for me has been that I've been able to call him up at odd times and just ask him for general business advice. And it's been a great help to me that he has been willing and supportive to give me advice based on his vast experience of dealing with many, many small businesses. For using an accountant, I have three tips. The first one is really to be as open and transparent as possible with your accountant and give them as much information as you can, because that helps them to do their job better. My second tip is that really you should do as much of the basic paperwork and bookkeeping as you can, do it yourself, so that will save money. And the third thing is that when you search for an accountant, do try to shop around and ask lots of different questions to make sure that you find the right person who's able to understand your business at its current size and also your market.